locomotives. Today we're going to take a 2.5-mile, 20-minute journey around 95 acres of the museum. Locomotive Ponies is order number 2, built in 1911 by the H.K. Porter Company of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Porter Company built hundreds of these locomotives. This one was built for the United Fruit Company in Central and South America. You would know the United Fruit Company better by the name Ada Banana. This engine was found by Elliott Donnelley in 1960s. Hesston gets its name from Peter and Marilyn Hess, who immigrated here from what is now Germany in the 1850s. They opened up a general store, trading post dry goods store on 1100, the road you came in on, just east of here, across from where the Hesston Supper Club sits now. And it is actually the steepest railway in the state. Looks like we're going to make it up. That way the engine crew doesn't have to get the harnesses out and have the children pull this up. The Winter Wonderland on the Candy Cane Express. Students with the Marine Corps Toys for Tots program donate a new unwrapped toy. Receive a big discount on your train ride. Again, this is the first 2 weeks in December. Demonstrations going on today. The sawmill will be going, some of the corlises, the steam tractors, blacksmith shop, other equipment will be operating. There will be a tractor parade later this afternoon. All 3 sizes.
Okay, we got a good look at the people balls.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard the Hesston and Galena Creek Narrow Gauge Railroad. A few safety precautions that we ask you keep in mind are to please stay seated at all times. Do not stick any part of yourself outside the train while it is in motion. And the only thing that smokes on this train is the locomotive. In the 1970s, as a gift of Elliott Donnelley from Chicago. And it was destroyed in our 1985 shed fire that destroyed most of our locomotives and rolling stock at the time, but it has been restored since 2006 and is our largest locomotive. On the left-hand side of the train is our volunteer campground, where the folks that are going to be working at the museum for more days of the weekend need 5 feet above sea level. We have climbed 60 vertical feet since leaving Hesston Junction. That's about like a 6-story apartment building. And we are now headed down into the Hesston Hills, and yes, it's all downhill from here. Up ahead of us, on our right, you'll get a nice view of our Shay locomotive on these sharp turns. We are riding on a narrow gauge railway, folks, which means that the rails are closer together than that of standard gauge, which is 4 feet 8 1/2 inches. Our railroad is 3 feet. Narrow gauge railroads were quite common in the United States in the 1800s. That tree line across the field is the Michigan-Indiana state border. We will be getting much closer to that here in a few minutes. This field is the site of our mock Civil War battle every June, where we have cannons, horses, muskets, soldiers, the whole shebang. So please make sure to visit us during June for our Civil War train raid weekend. Speaking of the Civil War, the 1800s and all of that, the area known as Hesston, the northernmost town in Indiana, was originally settled back in 1835. A man named Matthew Mays moved to the area, and outside of the train, you'll see that we are within 15 to 20 feet of the Michigan-Indiana state line. And up ahead of us, you'll see our locomotive working hard to pull us up a 5.5% grade. That's a 5.5% grade, folks, and our locomotive is specially designed to climb steep grades. 5.5% means that for every 100 feet that we travel forward, the train will rise 5.5 vertical feet. Mainline railroads like Union Pacific, as we clear the next stand of trees, we will be coming back into Hesston Junction. I'd like to thank you all very much for riding with us on this beautiful Labor Day weekend. The LaPorte County Historical Steam Society has been a non-profit volunteer organization since 1956. So thank you very much for coming out and supporting us today. On your visit here to the grounds, be sure to stay tuned for the Parade of Power Tractor Show. Visit our static displays like our sawmill and the Avery steam tractor chugging away over there, and our Steamworks Foundry exhibit, the blacksmith shop, and that's it. Companies out there, and its second career is hauling trains for the Blackbird Central Railroad in South Dakota, and they came here in the 1970s by a donation from longtime publishing magnate Elliott Donnelley. style winch, as well as a root float. As we move back into the station, please remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop. And the engineer gives us one short blast on the whistle to indicate that the brakes are set and we will no longer be in motion.
They're so undefeated.
It's like the concept that I want to do international. We got a platform up. That is owned by Tim Clark. It's a 1929. Just like the same one. 1949 Jamie and Ira Metcalf. And I might have some prizes over there for the kids as well. Icon 9 on your show now and check it out. Rushton demonstration. Ladies and gentlemen, I move that in, and then we're going to do it with the, we're going to learn what it's all about.
I think I'll still do that.
Okay, let's start. Oh, we got Lucas first today. I know the farm, our agriculture system. Okay, what's your name? Mason. It's going to be you against the machine.
Thank you guys for riding with us today.